All right, guys. So we are here. Um, yeah, I'm looking for some. Yeah, that's what to work. Yeah, today we got the Jolts job coming out. Um, the Jolts report drops at 10 a.m. So yeah, we got the Jolts job openings. All right, guys. So we are here. Let me see. So this is the Jolts job openings. All right. Yeah, forgive me, guys. I'm optimizing this for. There we go. For the stream again, we do have Jolts coming out today. Do me a favor, bump the like button as you join the stream. I see you guys do it already. What's up, Future Eddie? What's up, Beach Bum? What's up, Benny Crypto? Where's Bitcoin at right now? Yeah, so this week we got non-farm employment change and services PMI tomorrow, as well as ISM non-manufacturing PMI, which is services PMI drop tomorrow. Thursday we've got jobless claims, import-export prices. Friday we have unemployment, non-farm payrolls. Next week we've got, what's weird about next week, what I'm really confused about, genuinely confused about, is that it says PPI is before CPI next week. Is that true? Let me look. That's weird. PPI is coming out the day before CPI, which is usually backwards. Yeah, so hey, the next so yeah, that's true. So PPI comes out October 11th next week on the Wednesday next week. CPI comes out October 12th, which is just freaking weird, dude. We got CPI and PPI next week, but it's backwards relative to what it usually is. And then Friday, we got Michigan expectations. And then really, next week's actually a big week for a number of different reasons. Earnings season is back, and I'm excited about it. So yeah, next week earnings season starts again. Specifically, we get Wednesday popping it off with Pepsi. Thursday, and then the big one really starting so Thursday we've got Rite Aid, next week Delta, Walgreens, Lovesac, Domino's, Fastenal, Bank of South Carolina, a couple other ones, but Friday's the big one, right? So Friday we got JP Morgan, United Health, BLK, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Progressive, PNC, Unity, and a bunch of other ones. Friday next week. So Friday is when earnings season starts. We also have Tesla earnings in a couple weeks too. But that's really the spark off of earnings season next week. Followed by Schwab on the following Monday, about a few other ones. BBIG on Monday evening. Tuesday we got Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Lockheed Martin, Goldman Sachs. Yeah, dude. Wednesday, October 18th. Tesla, Netflix dropping. Trying to catch up on earnings season the rest of that week. Thursday morning. I like earnings season, obviously. Oh, Thursday we got Snapchat. We're going to cover all these, to be honest. Western Alliance Thursday also. Friday, nothing. Verizon, Coca-Cola. Microsoft and Google same freaking day again, man. Why? I wish they wouldn't do them the same day. We got on the 24th, we got Microsoft and Google. We'll probably cover Microsoft because Microsoft, you know, AI hype. Boeing, Coinbase drops theirs on Wednesday before the open. We got Meta on Wednesday, October 25th. Doesn't look like it's with any other big ones. Crocs, man. Roku, Ford. Nothing really on October 26th, Thursday. Nothing that I'm really going to cover. Well, it's only 3 days into October, man. He said it's still sluggish in October. Yeah, it's only a couple days in, bro. So it is what it is, you know. An interesting one that this year is going to be Exxon earnings. You'll notice like all the big earnings drop for whatever reason on Wednesdays. AMD earnings are going to be the 31st on November 1st. Bro, where's all the other big ones, dude? Thursday. Dang, dude. Why do they do it, bro? They do it the same freaking day, dude. They put Apple, Amazon, Square, Airbnb, DraftKings all on the same freaking day, bro. Why, dude? Why can't you just separate them for once, man? Separate the earnings. Don't put them on the same freaking day. All right, it's all right. We'll be busy this month, so it's okay. Oh. And I think the FOMC minutes report sometime soon too, right? I'm just checking on all this different stuff. The FOMC minutes report is actually surprising how many people show up for that. You know? All right. Powell did speak live yesterday, bro. I swear I checked it so much. The volume was really bad, and he didn't really say anything that was worth paying attention to. But like he spoke, and so you guys know me, I'm usually there to cover it. Okay, so also on Wednesday, we have the FOMC minutes report. Next Wednesday, that is. So busy week next week for sure. Next week we got CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes. What's up, Ricky? Hey, what's up, dude? What's up, Bash? Satisfactory. There's two Rickies here, bro. What's up, Ricky 1 and Ricky 2? Well, Exxon continue to drop down low. Exxon's been on a tear up, man. I don't know what Exxon's doing over the last few days, but it's still been on a tear. We're up about $100 on our trade here on Exxon. We've been holding this for a minute. Yeah, it's all good. What's up, Alyssa? Yeah, anything other good? I mean, again, today it's Jolts report, but it's quiet. Yeah, so I wish they let me All right, so yeah. Looking at the FOMC minutes reports, conferences. Yeah, I think what happened was that CNBC had yeah, I think CNBC had, like, they set up like a camera crew to cover it, even though they were mostly talking about like local economy. Like they were talking about the local economy in Philly, you know, so it wasn't really anything that was going to move markets like that. And if you look at it, it did. No, Serpa, no, I wouldn't. $10,000, to be honest. I'm not trying to brag, but it's not that much money to me. You know, I mean, it's not a small amount of money, but it's not like a life-changing amount of money, you know. NQ just dumped 20 points. Yeah, Nvidia just tapped 450. So Nvidia is still very strong. SPY dipping down a little bit. You can see Tesla starting to come back down too. So if the NASDAQ is dipping, it's tech, right? So Apple falling. Apple is falling. Amazon falling. Google's not really falling that much. Google seems okay. They're both down. They're all down a little bit though. Nvidia dipping down a little bit. You can kind of see it's at 450. Still keeping an eye on Tesla here. What do you mean, Matt? Bid chip day? What do you mean? Explain yourself, sir. Yeah, I mean, Serpa, no offense, man. But a couple things. The first one is you seem to talk about him a lot. And again, I'm not trying to say any names or talk negatively about anybody. So, like, you know, might be best to just not, you know, spark drama. The other thing is that, I mean, I certainly make more than $10,000 a month running this YouTube channel, sir. And so, you know, yeah, I mean, $10,000 a month is not that much money to me. I make more money than that every month, you know, and so it's just not a life-changing amount of money to me. And you know, like I said, this YouTube channel certainly makes good money. Like running it, we get, regardless of what people want to say. I mean, people try to downplay it, but like during the FOMC meetings, like we got 5,000 simultaneous viewers. You know, like we get like, you know, we get enough views to be comfortable for sure. And it's just something which I've promised people I wasn't going to sell a course, and you know, I'm going to stick to that promise. So this looks like a nice dip opportunity. Maybe. I mean, again, we're right around break even for a lot of these. Tesla's down on the day. You can see Tesla down at 249. SPY dipping down to 426s. Any thought on next era? Don't really know much about that one. What is Jolts? Jolts is job openings report is what it is. So Jolts is the job openings report. So it's basically gonna, it's relevant for the economy right now. A lot of people are waiting for it. It's a pretty big day, you know. Yeah, a lot of people talking about the dollar rising here. If we look at the dollar index, there's a SPY. Dollar index is rising. It's at 107s, which is really interesting because it kind of went up with the market. A lot of the market gapped up yesterday. And usually the Dixie and the market have an inverse correlation. So usually they're backwards, right? So usually, the dollar index and the market are not going to move the same direction. But in this case, they did, and they have for the last few days, which is really interesting because, it's just really interesting because generally that doesn't happen a lot. And so it's kind of rare that the Dixie and the markets move with each other, and you can kind of see that happening over the last few days. SPY's still breaking down. Let's see if we can find some news to justify this. Yeah, as the bond yields go up, and the reason the bond yields can have an inverse relationship with the market is simple. It's because the yields of bonds, if you don't know what those are, right? Yields of bonds are how much people are earning from bonds. So like if the yield goes up, that means people who have invested in bonds or people that let me rephrase. It means that the open bonds are going to give better yields, right? And what that's going to do is that's going to drag people away from the markets because, short term, if you can earn, whatever the yield is in bonds, guaranteed versus whatever the yield is in the S&P 500, not guaranteed, a lot of people are going to go to bonds instead of, conventional investments in the S&P 500. And so with that, a lot of the time there can be a negative correlation short term. It's specifically short term. The more you zoom out, the more they have more so of a positive correlation, but it varies. But yeah. And so it's pretty easy to understand in that, like, bonds are competitive with stocks is the easiest way to put it, right? So like if bonds, if you get paid more for investing in bonds, investors are going to choose that over conventional S&P 500 investments. And so what that's going to mean is that when bond yields rise, less people buy the S&P 500 basically, and thus you get the inverse short-term correlation. But again, when you zoom out a lot of the time, the more you zoom out, the more that trend turns normal. It's just short-term, which makes sense. Yeah, over 4.5%. That's solid. Might have to buy some bonds. The problem is like letting your money sit for that long. That's just a long time to let your money sit. Yeah, market turned a little bit. I mean, Tesla dipped too. Tesla at 250s. The market's really been kind of flat, though, if we look at like a 10-day chart. The market's been flat for the last, really for the last couple weeks. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Mostly right around 250. The market's been stabilizing right around 250 on Tesla. Specifically, if we look at a 10-day chart on the S&P, really, again, for the last week or so, it's been pretty flat. Not a lot of big range action here. I still think we're arguably in this trend that we drew. You can kind of see the weekly version of it here. I still think we're in this trend, and we've been in it since November of last year. So we've been in this trend basically all year. I think the trend is very obvious. But I don't know what's going to happen. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're going to break below this trend? Do you think we're going to bounce back above it? I think the trend is very clear, though. We're at 426s now. And but yesterday we had a pretty green day too. The lows of yesterday were at 424.50s, and so I'm gonna watch the lows of yesterday specifically. $50 level, 424.50. I think they make sense to pay attention to. Yeah, maybe. What are the Jolts estimates? Yeah, they'll put those up on screen here so you guys can check them out. So the Jolts estimates, sorry, I'm kind of like looking for the rest of this month. The Jolts estimates are for 8.8 million is what they're expecting for August. 8.8 million. If you don't know what the Jolts job opening survey is, it's a survey by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It measures job vacancies, and so job openings. It can be kind of nuanced because it defines a job opening is all positions that are open on the last business day of the month. A job is open only if it meets number 1, a specific position exists and there's work available for it. Number 2, the job could start within 30 days, whether or not the establishment finds a suitable candidate. Number 3, and there's active recruiting for workers from outside the establishment location that is openings. So higher, a higher than expected reading here means more job vacancies, more job openings, and so, it means more jobs, and so higher than expected reading means more jobs. Lower than expected meetings reads less jobs. But another nuance of it is that a higher than expected reading means more open jobs and less people working, if that makes sense. All right, team. And again, hit that like button, smash that like button. Let's do a poll. I don't think we did a poll yet. Does the Jolts report help or hurt the market? Is what we're going to ask. Hey, what's up, Elevate? Appreciate the support, brother. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so Jolts drops monthly. It measures job vacancies, hiring, and job separations. Vacancies data gauges the labor market. What the heck is this? What is this? You're supposed to be instrumentals. What are you talking about? Sorry, guys. Yeah, we're gonna keep the instrumentals. All right, anyways, sorry. A job vacancy is considered to be a position that is available, could start within 30 days, in which the employer is actively trying to fill. All right, if you look at this. All right, so job openings includes all vacancies, including those for part-time and temporary employment. Like somebody said, it doesn't have to be like high-paying work. Yeah, so let's look at when the last Jolts report came out. Yeah, so I'm also the Jolts report is big. It's released on a lag. The Jolts data covering a given month is usually published about a month after the employment situation. So this one's for August, I believe. Or no, is this one for September? Yeah, this is for August. So it's a little late. All right, guys. So, yeah, I'm trying to look up to see how the market reacted to Jolts report. Look at the SPY still dumping down here. So look at the SPY still dropping. Pretty significant dips in pre-market right now for the SPY. Look at this dip. A lower number means less job openings. Yeah, when was the last Jolts report? Yeah, so I'm looking at the last one. I think the last Jolts report was on August 29th. I think it skipped. Or no, maybe not. All right, so I believe it was released, the Jolt. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the Jolts report to see what it showed last time. I think it came in at 8.827 million for July. 8.827 million for July. I think it came out at September 19th, if I'm wrong. Let me check. Can anybody give me the date of the last 8.827 million? So yeah, that was right. We got to see what they were expecting. So I think the Jolts report came out on the 19th. So September 19th, Tuesday. Let me see. No, don't want that. Yeah, chat can help me out. Yeah, so again, markets buy down. Is it time to buy the dip here? I guess is the question. It's a dip buying season right now. Where's Roblox too? Like I've got a call option in Roblox, but time is running out, man. When is Roblox earnings? I don't think they're coming out anytime soon either. Yeah, Apple is falling down some. So again, here's Apple. Apple's kind of what's weighing in on the market right now. It's all the way down to 175 or 172.75s. I mean, so Apple is weighing down the market. Is it time to buy the dip though? I guess is the question. Like, is it dip buying time? I don't know. All right. Yeah, when was the last Jolts report? See when they were released. Okay, last release was August 29th. I'm trying to figure out if it was better or worse than expected, though. And then how the market responded to that is what I'm trying to look up. Yeah, so here's the Jolts report. So yeah, Jolts report came out at 8.27 million. They expected 9.46 million. So they had less job openings than expected last time. This dropped in August, right? So again, 9.465 million. 9.5 million was expected. They came in light. And then if we look at the market in August, this happened about a month ago on August 29th. Put a 90-day chart up with a 5-minute. And then look at this. So again, the only thing though is that the CB consumer confidence data showed up right there too, like right when this data came out. You know, so CB consumer confidence and Jolts came out at the same time. So here was the day it came out, August 29th. The Jolts report dropped here, and it looks like the market reacted pretty positively to it. So the report came out right here, and since then the market ripped up. And so maybe the market wants less job vacancies. I guess that would mean more people working, more economic strength. And so that's what we'll look for today. But who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Is it time to buy the dip? What's up, MJ? NVIDIA bounced it up a little bit too, though. So let's see if the SPY can bounce it. Again, that's the market right now. We dipped a lot. We're starting to bounce a little bit back up. We're at 126 right now. Let's see if that 126 whole dollar level can hold. Again, we do have the Jolts report at 7:30. We still got a couple hours. I don't know what caused the dip. I'm looking to see if we can figure out anything. So Schumer announced he is to lead a bipartisan congressional trip to China, Korea, and Japan in October. United Airlines is reportedly close to double-digit order for Airbus A321 narrow bodies, according to Bloomberg. I don't think we have any other big earnings. But NVIDIA is bouncing. So NVIDIA right around 450. And it's interesting because NVIDIA is starting to rise and the market really isn't following it up like I thought it would. You know, I thought NVIDIA might follow the market up. You know, I thought NVIDIA might follow the market up, but that's just not what we got. All right, team. Yeah, I'm looking at everything else. But Tesla bouncing up 249s. We'll see if the SPY holds 426. I think 426 is a good spot. Although this looks like a giant bear flag, though. Again, we'll see. Looks like a giant bear flag to me, though. Too many conflicting interpretations. Hey, cheers to you, man. Russell went negative. Yeah, gold. Gold at 1840s. So gold down pretty heavy over the last, 10 days? Yeah, bad 10-day chart for gold, very bad. Let's see what the votes look like. So in the voting, 55% think Jolts report hurts the market. 45% think it helps the market. Which is interesting. UNG, isn't that oil? I forget what it is. Oh, it's natty gas. But it's an ETF, and don't these fail over time? Like, don't these have some type of time decay that takes them out? Yeah, but small caps don't have any correlation with the market, though, KC. So, like, small caps aren't going to move with the market. Like, you're not going to be able to say, hey, well, the broad market's going to do this, and so small caps are going to do this. Like, small caps are completely independent of the market. They're very sketchy companies that are very new, and there's just not really any edge in investing in them. A large 90+% of them will fail, and so buying them up, investing in them or treating them like there's some type of correlation with the broader market's usually going to be a recipe for success, or a recipe for failure. I'm sorry. And so again, do what you want to do. It's up to you, but just understand, like, a lot of people get wrapped up. Like, there's predatory and sensationalized marketing that's out there about penny stocks, where they just act like penny stocks are the greatest ever. Why this one penny stock is just different, guys, and it's gonna go crazy. You just got to invest your life savings into it. So just don't get stuck in that, because a lot of, like, rookie traders get stuck in that. Like, they don't know any better, and they hear that type of marketing, and they're like, oh wow, like, I'm gonna retire on this one stock. You got to really think about the Wolf of Wall Street and what Jordan Belfort used to tell people on the phone, right? He'd say, yeah, you could pay your mortgage with a mere $5,000 investment. He would say, and they quoted it as saying, selling garbage to garbage men, right? Like, he's selling crap. And he's persuading people into buying crap. And so that there's a lot of that out there for penny stocks. So just be careful. Again, 8.8 million is what we're expected for jobs today. 8.8 million. The FTX fraud trial is beginning. Hey, what's up, Shepard? What's your view upcoming winter and might go up in price? Maybe. I don't know, man. I think October, November, December, January are the historical best months for the market, in which the market generally rides up in those months. But, outside of that, I really don't know what we're going to get in those months. I think, I think anything could happen, and I'm really not sure what we're going to get there. Yeah, it depends on what you define. I'm talking about small caps mostly. I'm talking about stocks under $10 that are low float. I'm not talking about literal penny stocks. Most traders refer to penny stocks under $5 or under $10. Those are penny stocks. So, like, BBIG, CEI, there's just SOS. There's just a gang of penny stocks that, like, have been hyped up, pumped up, and that ultimately lose 99% of value very quickly. And a lot of times, like, communities form around them because everybody's so down in them. VFS, VinFast, one of those pump and dunk penny stocks. VFS, I talked about this. I told you guys I was really thinking about buying put options when this one was at 90s, and I should have, to be honest. They were super expensive, but this is a great example of what happens with pump and dumps in the market. So, like, look, so you can kind of see this is generally what you get. Everybody buys it up. There's mania. Everybody's like, woohoo, we're going to get rich, right? And, like, somehow up here, a lot of people get talked into buying it way up there. And they justify it like, oh, it can go higher, and then it slams down on everybody, right? It slams down on everybody. And then usually, like, what happens is people cry manipulation, right? They say, oh, we were manipulated. It's like, yeah, well, you were manipulated to get up there at $93 a share anyway. It never should have been up there. And then you'll never see it again. I mean, maybe it'll make another, like, sometimes I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes you'll get a smaller squeeze that happens like deep into the future where it'll pop like this and then it'll fade into obscurity. Or sometimes it'll just fade into obscurity regardless of it. But yeah, that's, I would, and the problem is, like, a bunch of traders that bought it way up here, like, they're going to be talking about how great of a company it is. And it's not. Yeah, Santa rally, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I hope we get a Santa rally. I do, but I'm not confident, but I hope we do. You know. All right, guys. Sorry, Carol's asking me something. But DD on company happens most of the time after people. Yeah, I mean, you just don't, like, you don't want to find yourself in that position, guys, where you're in, like, a lot of the time the position is like this, and I can't really judge because I've made dumb decisions in trading too. But, like, you don't want to find yourself in the position of, like, okay, you buy a really speculative stock that's not a guaranteed stock. It's not a blue chip stock. It's not a well known company. You buy some obscure, crappy company, right? And for whatever reason, you lose on it. And so you add more shares to it. And then you lose more. And so you add more shares to it, right? So eventually you're invested really heavy in this crappy, obscure penny stock that nobody really cares about except for a handful of people who are just kind of over there talking about how it's the greatest company ever. And then over time, you start losing more and more money on it, and you say you've invested thousands in it. So over time, like, you're so desperate for it to go up that you start going from room to room, promoting it, spamming it in other chat rooms. Like, you start just being a pumper, you know. That's usually what happens. And then the communities form around it from people that are just stuck in the position, right? And so they're all talking about how great of a company it is, and they're all talking about how great of a company is. And that over time, happens a lot. And so the way you avoid it is, I just invest in companies that I know. Like, I only buy companies that I've heard about, that I know, that I've used in one form or another in business. I also really avoid, like, mid-cap stocks really heavily, because, like, mid-cap stocks can drop brutally over short periods of time, like very big drops in mid-caps. And a lot of the time people don't recognize that they're not large caps, that because they might be well known, but they're new. But so people invest in them like they're Apple or Amazon or whatever. And that causes people to lose a lot. Mid caps can drop 60% a year, and so it's just something that you got to be wary of. You just got to be aware. You got to be aware of how that happens. And again, my rules to protect myself there, or I only buy stocks that I know, that have been around for a long time, and that I know. If you look at every stock in my portfolio, it's a stock that's been around long enough, like been around 5-10 years at least. Except for one, I'm holding ARM, the ARM IPO, and we're flat basically on that one. IO, I've never heard of that one. Everything seems to hurt the market lately. Then the manipulation happens and it bounces back. Never hear anyone talking about do your due diligence on mid or large caps. Yeah, 100%. It is what it is, man. You know, like I said, it is what it is. You know, I'm not judging. Like maybe there's some penny stocks that can go crazy and do well, but it's just not most of them. You know, like most of them are just not good companies, and you're gonna lose money investing in most mid to small cap stocks. Yeah, I'm in Coca-Cola right now. Can you check? What is that? U.S. Steel, Harry? Yeah, so that's U.S. Steel. I mean, it's doing all right. I mean, U.S. Steel over the last 4 years has done okay as a company. It's doing all right. Yeah, I'm not against that. Do your thing. Buy the Russell ETFs. Do your thing, man. All right, guys. Again, bump that like button. We got about 80 likes. We could do better than that. Do it now. Try it one time. Might feel good. Hit the subscribe button, guys. Again, next week's a very busy week. This week's a very busy. Or this week's semi-busy. It's not really the busiest. You know. All right, guys. So, SPY dipping, Tesla dipping. Is it time to buy the dip? I don't know yet. We need 12 likes, guys, to break 100. Just 12 little measly baby likes. Again, next week we got earnings season starting, and I'm pretty excited about it. Next week we actually had a gang of stuff to go over. So, like, this week is all right. It's kind of slow. We don't have a ton of stuff happening this week. Like, we've got jobless claims. We've got non-farm employment change data tomorrow, which is kind of big. I mean, it's not small, but it's not really huge either. But we'll cover it. We got NBA 30-year mortgage rates. We got non-farm employment change. We also have services PMI. So actually tomorrow might be a somewhat larger day. I don't know how, but it's going to be, we got services and non-manufacturing PMI data tomorrow, which is relatively big. That with the ADP non-farm employment data, we got some stuff to pay attention to. And then Thursday, we just got simple jobless claims, import-export prices like we always do. And then Friday, I don't think we have anything. Oh, no. Friday, we have earnings. No. Oh, Friday, I'm sorry. We got non-farm payrolls and unemployment data. So payroll numbers and unemployment Friday. So we got stuff this week and next week and the week after that. So it'll be a busy couple weeks. We got earnings, a bunch of stuff coming out. Yeah, it's all due to bonds. It's due to bond yields, Douglas. Again, yields are up. And again, I talked about this earlier, but the correlation with yields is very simple. Is that and again, the easiest way to understand it is that bonds are competitive with equities in the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow. Like, bonds are competitive. So like, imagine you're an investor and you want to know what to invest in, right? And so you're looking at like the S&P 500, but then you see that bond yields are almost 5% guaranteed right now. Like, bonds are guaranteed investments. Treasury bonds is what we're referring to. They're guaranteed. So like the U.S. government is going to pay you no matter what the yield is, right? And so right now the yields are almost 5%. So imagine you're an investor and you can invest in the S&P 500 right now, which a lot of people are going to say is sketchy. Again, I'm not necessarily saying it's sketchy. I'm kind of a dip buyer myself, but a lot of people are going to say it's sketchy. Or you can make 5% guaranteed from treasury bonds with the government. A lot of people are going to say, hey, screw the S&P. I'm going to go with bonds. I'm going to buy treasury bills or bonds or notes. And that's what they're going to do. And so in that regard, there's going to be a short-term inverse correlation with yields and with the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, equities market in general. Why? Because they're competitive. People are asking, hey, when more people buy one, they stop buying the other, right? When less people buy one, more people buy the other. And so that's the correlation short term. At long term, when you zoom out longer and longer, that type of correlation goes away because they all follow the same thing ultimately long term. But short term, there's an inverse correlation, and that's what you get. You got bond yields going up, the S&P 500, the rest of the market's going down a little bit on that. Yeah, gold is getting really negatively affected by it. Yeah. Yeah, bond yields. All right, guys. All right, team. Almost done here, almost done. SPY still at 425, but let's watch 425. I think 425 is a psychological level that makes perfect sense to watch. Have you ever bought bonds? No, not personally. Most of the time I would just have to, I'm okay with investing. But if I'm going to tie some money up for 10 years, I'm going to find other stuff to put it in, besides bonds. I'm probably just going to throw it in the S&P 500 because I think, there's always more risk with the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, right? But I think the way you have to look at it is when you zoom out over a 10-year period, your odds are very good for making more than 5% a year in the S&P 500, right? So if you zoom out over, look, even if we look at the market right now, right? So here's the SPY right now. All right, let's pull up a long-term chart and see how much the S&P 500 has appreciated over the last 10 years. Okay, so here's the SPY. We're just going to use the SPY. It's the S&P 500. So we're at about 425s right now. We call it 430s. We call it 425s. We zoom back out to a year ago, which was 2014, and we were at about 160 in 2014, 160. So first, let's figure out the percentage increase. 160 to 425. Means the S&P 500 rose over the last 10 years 165%, right? 165%. Now, 165% to calculate the 10-year, the yearly interest, we divide it by 10, and that gives us an average on the S&P 500 of about 16.5% a year, okay? That is why, if we're talking about 10-year periods, I'm going to go with the S&P over bonds. Bonds are guaranteed. There's less risk, of course. I'm not retiring imminently. I think the only way you should consider bonds is if, you got to retire in the next 10 years and, you don't want to get stuck bad luck in a crash, when you're supposed to reap that income. That's the only thing, right? But, again, when we look at it on a pure statistical basis here, the S&P 500 on the last 10 years gave you 16.5% a year. So, it's a pretty big bump up, you know. And in that regard, I'm going to go with the S&P, over bonds. 10 years is a long time. Things appreciate, dilution happens, inflation happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to lock up a large sum of money for 10 years for 5% annual returns. Not saying 5% is chump change, but you could do better elsewhere in the markets. And that's what people really have to understand about like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and everything like that is like, that is the big edge. That is the profound edge, Well, yeah, whatever you get them at, pawn. Whatever you get them at is what you get them at. Again, though, you got to understand, like, the S&P 500 is going to, on average, give you more, and that's my point. It's like the S&P 500. That I would just buy the S&P. Yeah, short-term bonds are giving better yields than the 10-year. What are 6-month bonds giving you? All right, so again, SPY at 425, small little bounce. I think we can see a pretty obvious trend here. Now, I don't know how long we're going to hold this trend on the SPY. You kind of see that there. 6 month is over 5% in the inversion they talk about all the time. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. Well, wait, so if you hold if it's a 6 month bond, or I think what do they call 6 month? If it's less than a year, I think they call it a bill, right? So if it's a 6 month bill, and it's only half a year, and it's a 5%. So you would get paid for the life to maturity. You'd get paid 2.5% for over that 6 month period. Is that correct? You'd make 2.5% from that. Let me know if that's right. I think that's probably right. Oh yeah. So V is actually asking the same question. Yeah. So it's 2.5. Like, that's what I'm saying. So it's 2.5 you get from a 6 month bill. Tesla consolidating sideways flat. That'll be 8 a.m. The 8 a.m. scrum is about to happen. No, you get the entire 6%. Entire 6%? I thought you said it was a 5% bill. You get 6%. What? Okay, so are you saying in 6 months... wait. How much... Okay, now I'm confused. Where'd you get 6 from? I thought you said it was 5%. Right. So, okay, it's 5 to 6%. So basically, you're gonna earn 5% to maturity. Like, on maturity date, you earn 5%. They're not gonna pay you payments like a longer term bond would. Like, to put it into perspective, guys, for the longer term bonds, like, so say you get a 10-year bond, and that bond is paying you 5% a year. Right, I think either yearly or bi-yearly, so twice a year. So either yearly or twice a year, they're going to pay you your interest payments, right? So just to make it easy, if you invest $100, yearly, at the very least yearly, they're going to pay you your $5 interest payment, and they're going to keep paying you that until maturity date, and then at maturity date you get your money back. And so that's kind of how it works. And so just to give you some math behind bonds real quick, like if you invest, let's do a sizable amount of money. Let's say you invest 100K, right? And you're earning 5% yearly, right? At least once a year, they are going to pay you $5,000, right? So they're going to pay you $5K a year for 10 years. So you're going to make 50% on that investment over a 10-year period of time. And you might say, wow, 50%, that's crazy. right? But when you think about the fact that, like, again, the S&P 500 is up 165% in the last 10 years, right? So the S&P 500 is up 165%, and so you're going to make 165K if you put it in the S&P 500. If you would have put 100K into the S&P 500 10 years ago, this math is wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, this math is wrong. Sorry, I just recognized it. The point is, you're going to make much more investing in the S&P. But yeah, my math is wrong. But that's okay. My math can be wrong occasionally. No, maybe my math is right. Either way, you're going to make more. Much more. S&P 500 gives you on average 16% a year, which is crazy. I'm not sure what about that is, Tano. I've never heard of that. 5.5. So if I loan the U.S. government 100K right now, KC, at 5.5%, I'm gonna make 5.5% of maturity. All right. So if I give them 100K and I multiply it, they're gonna pay me $5,500 in 6 months if I loan them 100K. I mean, that's not a bad deal. You know, maybe I should check out bonds. Yeah, thank you, Scott, for the math. Can we do a beginner guide on how to buy a T-bill? Yeah. I mean, that's a good deal. I mean, it's not the best deal. There's other ways. Like, once you have big money like that, there's other ways, but that's not a bad deal. I think what they're probably doing is they're gonna take your money and they're gonna buy the S&P 500. All right, again, SPY down still. Week past 8 a.m. There's the 8 a.m. scrum. We're still kind of sitting tight. The Jolts report's coming out later on today, guys. So remember, be ready. The Jolts report at 10. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trade is like stocks adjust for inflation better than bonds. And so if inflation happens really rapidly in those periods, but a 6 month, there's less risk of that too. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the SPY. SPY gave me, in terms of percentage increase, it was at like 16%, but it could vary. Maybe I'm looking at just the SPY. Yeah, we're dropping right now because of a lot of reasons, but yields is definitely one of them. Bond yields are really high right now. And honestly, on our Top Step account, man, another green day yesterday. What's really nice here is like what you can see is like, okay, so here's my graph short term. So like here's my graph short term. And so again, here's my funded account on Top Step. We are winning 75% 3 out of 4 days on Top Step. We've completed 16 days. Started in August, so we've had this funded account since August. We built up a little bit under 1,000 net. again, one of the ways I've been so successful in this funded account is just slow and steady gains, man. Slow and steady gains. In this account right now is at about, we'll have to figure it out, but I got too many links here. Let me exit out of some of this stuff. Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern. SPY 418 today. I don't think we're gonna get that low. I mean, we could. Hey, what's up, George? Get the new Epic pen out. Hey, what's up, Brian? Good morning, guys. Yeah, well, in the bear market, that's probably the right move. Is just buy bonds and then wait. Oh, I like. I don't know. It depends. Like, I like buying the dip, and so it depends on how you're trying to do it. But I like personally buying the dip. Everyone looking at the yield, sentiment on fear. Sometimes when everybody looks the same way, you start to look the other. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I do anyway, is we just kind of look for opportunity. SPY setting up an inverse cup and handle. Thinking about putting my money in Amazon. Yeah. The thing to understand about tech right now is that earnings season's about to start. Right? Earnings season is almost here. And when it's here, volatility increases. And so, like, volatility increases on earnings season, and that's going to happen pretty soon here. Although Amazon, the PE ratio is very high for Amazon still. But it's had a good year. What do you guys think? Is Amazon a good one or not? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, that's why I stopped myself. I saw my math being wrong. But yeah, earnings season starts. Again, earnings season starts specifically next week with bank earnings. Bank earnings are the ones that really pop off earnings season. So again, next week we do have some earnings coming out. The big one really starts the week after next, although we do have some stuff dropping next week. Like, just to put this into perspective for earnings here today, right? So earnings, starting next week, we have a gang of earnings to come out, right? So the first one is Pepsi. I believe it's on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, so Tuesday we get Pepsi earnings. That's really the spark of earnings season. That's the first big company that releases their earnings is Pepsi. Tuesday, it happens Tuesday morning, and we'll stream the whole thing live like we always do. Pepsi earnings Tuesday. Wednesday, nothing really. Thursday, nothing really. But then Thursday, we got Rite Aid, Constellation, Delta Airlines, Walgreens, Lovesac, Commercial, Domino's, Fastenal. And so really, next week earnings season starts Thursday. We got some relatively big companies. And again, in Domino's, Lovesac, Walgreens, Delta, Rite Aid. Thursday evening, we don't really have much going on. But then Friday is when the big boys come out with JP Morgan, BlackRock, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Progressive, PNC Financial, Unity Bank, and more. And so, yeah, big earnings start next week. And then that following the week after that. So after that, we're going to have Tesla earnings, Netflix earnings, Snapchat earnings. A lot of stuff dropping next week. And then we also have the FOMC minutes report next week. We also have CPI and PPI next week. And so very busy week for sure. Cup and handle looks like this. So let me catch back. Sorry, I'm catching back. Closed all my shorts yesterday. Kind of regret it now. But nobody getting broke, taking profit. For sure, Johan. Depends on time frame you're looking at. If anything over 3 to 5 years, all these prices should be attractive, 100%. And that's, I think, the way you got to look at it, you know. A cup and handle looks like this. Right, you get the cup. I like buying the handle. It's usually where I target. Like, I usually target the handle if I can. Shepard says, hi, John. Weird question on TOS. When you're trading options, it asks what exchange you want to use. Mine is set on best. Shouldn't I switch to the New York Stock Exchange? There's a lot of different exchanges throughout the world. I would keep it on best personally. But again, that's just me. I might be wrong there. I'm not the biggest option guy. And so maybe the chat can help me out a little bit more. I'm just not the biggest option guy. You know, so that's me. What do you guys think? Should she change it to best or switch? I really have no idea. No, we're not crashing yet. Again, if we look at the SPY here, I always got to show people this. Like, really, we're in this trend still. Now, I don't know if we're going to stay in this trend. I don't know if we're going to dip more. But again, people got to understand what crash really means. Like, I know a lot of people predicted crashes, right? And so, like, they're desperate to be right. Big influencers telling everybody the market's going to crash. But a crash really, like an actual crash would be this. You know? And so we're just nowhere near that yet. I mean, we're getting some red action for sure. Market's definitely not looking green over the last couple weeks, but we're certainly not in crash territory yet. You know, again, if we look at a 20-day chart even, you know, let me see if there's a 10-day chart. Yeah, we look at a 10-day chart, like we're definitely down significantly here. We're not up for sure. But a crash is nothing like this. Like, a crash is much bigger percentage drops than this. This is a correction, maybe. You can call it a correction. Whatever you want to call it, you know, you can. But the other one to look at that's really interesting is NVIDIA. You know, NVIDIA basically back up to 450s, and the rest of the market is not following it up, which is very surprising to me. I thought NVIDIA's bounce back would drag the market up with it because the whole market dipped on NVIDIA for the most part, right? So very strange. But yeah, very strange. And, you know, we'll see if NVIDIA continues to push back up. Again, I think NVIDIA's strength is good for the markets regardless of whether it follows it short term. Yeah, but Pepsi drops earnings next week, and so I usually stay away from buying something ahead of earnings. I like Pepsi as a company, just like I like Coca-Cola, but with earnings season with Pepsi earnings a week away, I think it's just risky. Tesla's not really bouncing up that big. I mean, it's up like $1 a share, but it's not up too much yet. Yeah. All right, guys. Warren Buffett does not like. Is this a scam? Okay, bro, I see one of these Ripple. I got to report this channel. So do not, like, again, some of these crypto scammers are really, really tricky. Really, really tricky. Where they'll send so many fake views. So like these channels, they'll send it a bunch of fake subscribers, and then they'll tell you to click the link, and they'll tell you to click the link, and then they'll say they're gonna send you free crypto. It's purely a scam. Purely a scam. Yeah, so it's a fake crypto giveaway. I reported it, but y'all be careful, man. These things get a lot of people, bro. It's surprising how many people these things trick into. Like, I've had people that I know that have been watching these streams for like hours, right? And they're like, hey, man, be sure to check out this guy, you know? Elon Musk is talking to Kathy Wood right now, you know? And I'll look at it and I'll be like, hey, it's a scam. And then they'll literally argue with me about whether it's a scam or not. They'll literally argue with me about whether it's a scam. And they'll be like, no, man, it's a scam. It's not a scam. I've been watching it for an hour. And I'll be like, look, dude, if they're sending you to a sketchy link, like, it's a scam. What they do is they clip old interviews together. Yeah. Bing said the real interest you get from 6-month bond is 0.57%. Why is that? Why does it differ so much? If they're paying you 5.5%. Catastrophic engine failures at Ford? Wait, what? Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be red or green. I know we're red right now. There's NVIDIA, though. There's the SPY. SPY cracking lows again. All right, team. Yeah, I mean, you can link it. I'll check it out. All right, guys, Jolts report coming in. It's about 8:30 right now. We still got about an hour and a half before the Jolts report comes out. So again, expectations are for 8. What is it? It's like 8 point. What's the expectations for? Yeah, so the Jolts job 8.8 million. Again, so be sure to hit that like button for more free trading and economy content. Yeah, so why is the return? Somebody's saying the return on bond investments for 6 months is super low. Why is the return that little? Somebody explain that to me. Yeah, jobless claims day after tomorrow. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, but yeah, once you buy a bond, the interest rate should stay locked. I'm pretty sure. No, it should be locked. Again, non-farm payrolls, unemployment expected at 3.7%. Last time it came in at 3.8. Private payroll numbers expected at 160K, and non-farm payrolls expected at 163,000. Tomorrow we have the non-farm employment change, which is kind of the prelim non-farm payroll data mixed with the Jolts report. Can be interesting info on jobs. All right, guys. Again, the SPY bouncing up to 425.50s. So, but still pretty weak on the day here. Again, I'm watching Nvidia. Nvidia right around 450, still green on the day. Nvidia very green. Tesla, again, you can see it's sitting at 249s right now, 249s. Apple is another big one that dipped heavy in pre. It's all the way down to 172.60s, although it is green technically over the last few days still. Yeah, Ford down a little bit, but not too much. Yeah. Yields rose. Yeah, I mean, again, that's what I was saying. I don't know if this strike makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I understand they're mad about the CEOs getting big payments, but I also think like a lot of them are fighting for like more work, and I don't think you can force a company to let you work more. You know, like I don't think you can really like force that. Yeah, Jolt's numbers expected at 8.8 million. Still got some time here, but yeah. Again, SPY up to 425s. Let's see if it holds, man. Tesla's still down. Anything else that's big moving today that I missed? Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's still green over the last few days. You know, Nvidia, remember, was back at like 410s, you know, so 407s. So Nvidia, regardless of anything, is had a pretty big bounce back. You know, a lot of people were scared because it was all the way down at like 400 basically, but it had this huge U-turn, followed all the way back to 450s. Again, I'm surprised that this hasn't drugged the market up more, right? Because the market is not really looking like this. You know, like to put it into perspective, if we pull up like the SPY here on a 30-minute chart like this, you know, it's a very different story. You know, it's a very different story relative to Nvidia. You know, the SPY has instead gone like the opposite of this, where Nvidia has had this powerful bounce back, which is good for markets. You know, that's kind of what we want to see, is Nvidia bouncing back some, but the market's not really following it. So good for AI, but not really good for the markets. Meta is interesting as well, but yeah, we'll see if we hold. The low of the last few weeks is 422s, 422.30s or so. It's a very relevant level. I think it's a spot that we should watch. And then here's Tesla. Again, Tesla really interesting as well. We put up a 10-day chart here. Same kind of thing as the SPY. So Tesla looks more like the S&P 500 than anything. Apple at 172.60s. We'll see if we get a green day. It's not the most red day, though. I mean, we're down for sure. But again, you can kind of see like we're above yesterday's lows, and so we just got to hold here. Well, the market has shown us this volatility, and the whole market might be kind of waiting for the Jolts report to go live. So that could be one thing. Is it time to buy a dip in the SPY, I guess? Look at our poll numbers here. We got about 330 votes. 53% think the Jolts report's going to hurt the market. All right, so yeah, the Jolts report with expectations of 8.8 million. Let us know if you guys think we're going to come in higher or lower. Again, will we come in higher or lower than expected? If you want to vote on this poll, we appreciate it. Bounce it up a little bit, though. Back up to 425.50 here. 425.50. Trying to hold. Where's AMC? Is AMC up? AMC over 8, but looking slow. The problem is the float is so freaking crazy. What would be a good number for the market and what would be a bad number for the market? We don't know. We don't know if... we don't know what the market wants. Last time the Jolts report came out, it came in under expected numbers and the market liked it. The market ripped up from that, right? And so we don't know what the market necessarily wants here. Nobody does. But yeah. All right, so again, market's starting to rise. Tesla testing that 200 EMA volume weighted average price level. This might be an interesting spot too. Again, we are going to be trading today. We've built up a cushion of profit so far trading. Part of me wants to short, but I also think the market's down so much that I'm skeptical at this point in time. Oh, they got the violin out. All right, so we're watching this here. Try to be patient. Got a little dip on the SPY. Let's see if it holds. Market just looks so weak. I'm skeptical of going too long. E-mini's breaking down a little bit more than I wanted it to, so we're gonna have to cut this. We got into a trade, and we'll just pivot out of this one and go to something else. Again, we got some consolidation here too. We are taking this trade. 3 contracts. We're down a little bit. Flat on the trade overall. We got 3 contracts here. Not going to stay in this forever because the SPY just keeps breaking down here. I'm trying to buy the bottom. We've broken down so much this morning that, trying to buy the bottom, but it looks like this one's turning on me, so we're going to have to prepare to cut it. We're not down that much, and we're actually pretty flat. We might be in a little bit too large of size, but just taking a little bit too long here. Overall, not much reaction from what numbers? The Jolts numbers don't come out until 10 a.m. So yeah, the Jolts numbers don't go live until 10. So they're not out yet. Yeah, we didn't really have anything go live right now. I mean, we got Red Book data, business optimism data. All right, so we did get a little pop. I'm going to use this time to scale down my size a little bit. A few greens initiatives. Yeah, just be careful today, guys. I wouldn't really say today's an easy day to trade. Like, we're down like 150 on our funded account. And so we're probably not going to push too heavy moving forward. And I'll just kind of sit here tight in this one. Don't trip by the dip. Yeah, we'll try. Again, this is the trend we're watching on the SPY. It's just so flat right now. If we look at the actual market here, we're basically just kind of doing this right here. Like, let me show you. This is the trend that we've had over the last hour. Very flat, very neutral, very sideways, very boring. Not really much going down. Yeah, so again, the Jolts report doesn't go live until 10. So we still got a lot of time left until 10. Looking at this chart showing up on Chart Prime. Yeah, so we still got some time until the Jolts numbers come out. And again, we're trying to patiently sit back and just kind of wait. Looking at our votes, we did a Twitter poll as well. So a lot of people thought that the Jolts numbers were going to go live. Or no, a lot of people think the Jolts number is going to come in lower than expected here. Market's still flushing down, so it looks like me getting out of that long trade was right. Yeah, like again, I'm trying to build up a cushion on the day first, and the market's not giving me. I mean, unless we're shorting, which isn't the end of the world. Mike Vick trending. Market's still flushing down, man. Wow. Man, so a Department of Defense official has been charged with operating a secret. Well, I don't even know if I should say it. How crazy are you, bro? You work for the Department of Defense, dude. How dumb can you be, man? You work for the Department of Defense, dude. You got to do this dumb stuff, man. Come on, bro. Dumb, dude. Just dumb. So we are breaking down on the SPY. More weakness down under 425s. You gonna sell your Disney anytime soon? I mean, I'm green on Disney. I'll probably just sit on it, realistically. Yeah, I don't even want to say what it is. Yeah, Nvidia's still climbing, but right now the whole market's just sitting. Again, we got about 45 minutes into the opening bell. Again, we got the Jolts report today. It's a big release. It's an important spot that you want to pay attention to. And if you haven't already, again, guys, check out Top Step. Top Step, if you want to day trade with me, right? These funded account programs, like we talked about it a lot before. And again, I'll show you my progress on my funded account specifically, right? We talked about this earlier. I'll show you guys again. This is my progress so far. We've got 75% winning days. This is my graph. And again, I can even show you my actual, my account performance. Like we're down today, which is all right. See if we'll pull it up. It takes a little while to pull this up. But again, these funded account programs are powerful because it allows you as a new trader to limit your risk, right? You don't have to risk as much in these funded account programs. The base one's $49. And so if you lose, you're out $49. It's not the end of the world, but you still trade under pressure. You still have to learn how to trade. So like, look, here's last month. All right, this is my actual graph on my funded, in my actual funded account on Top Step, right? So we're funded and this is my graph. We're getting ready to take a withdrawal just to test one. But slow and steady wins the race, man. You can see my win-loss ratio is 3.2 to 1. And again, we're just going to keep grinding it up, And again, the system I have for this, again, what they do is they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you between 50 to 150K with a 90% split. If you don't win, it's not the end of the world. You're only out $49, right? If you don't pass the test, you're only out $49. And just taking the challenge builds your skill. The profit to loss, like the profit target versus max loss is a 2 to 3 ratio. So you got to make 3K without losing over 2K. Very reasonable. And again, there's no PDT in futures. So you can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, gold, currencies, some currencies. And it's just really easy to learn how to trade under pressure, right? And it's going to be the same. If you put the money up yourself, most day traders are going to lose, right? So this is a way to limit your risk, get exposure to day trading. And most pro day traders actually trade futures. And the system I have here makes a lot of sense, I think. And I think it's a system that you should learn from. Outside of any one niche of trading, it's a good system to learn, right? What the system entails is I build up a small cushion first. I talked about this on the Top Step channel the other day. You build up a cushion first. You build up a small cushion. Maybe on the day, maybe it's $100, maybe it's $150, maybe it's just $50, right? You build up that cushion. Once you have that cushion built, you are then allowed, and it is allowed, like you have to be very rigid and strict on yourself. Once you have that cushion, you're then allowed to take larger size to increase your risk, right? Only when you have a cushion on the day. If you don't have a cushion on the day, you should be trading very tight, very small. Once you have that cushion, then you're unlocked to be able to trade larger risk. If you make money there, then you're going to have much bigger gains, and you got to just take your days and rinse and repeat that every day, right? If it's a day where you lose from the get-go, I'm usually done. Like if I start off my day like today and I'm down $150, I usually don't push anymore, because again, those are days where you can have the big drawdowns, your emotions are wrecked, right? Those are the days I try not to, I try to avoid. And so instead, I'm working on building up a small cushion every single day, and if I don't, it's not the end of the world. It's all right. Some days I'm going to lose, some days I'm going to get out break even, but some days I'm going to have big winning days, and I'm going to make money doing so. And if you can learn to trade that way, your risk is much lower. And again, it's a powerful system specifically for these funded account programs. And again, we've been talking about this for years, but this system works for me, at least. I can't guarantee it's going to work for you. Top Step is a sponsor of mine, and so of course I'm biased, but this system works. And so if you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. I'm definitely biased, of course, because they pay me money, but it makes sense. All right, look at the market dumping down here, team. So SPY breaking lows again. Tesla breaking lows at 248 right now, 248. Yeah, big red day. Again, I think it's going to depend on the Jolts report coming out today. I really think it depends on the Jolts report going live. Yeah, I really think it depends on what the Jolts report says, what it comes in at. Well, we also got to watch like NVIDIA, I think, too. Like watching NVIDIA to see what they do today is important. All right, look at the SPY breakdown. Look at Tesla looking weak, man. Just a lot of weakness. %95 of people lost at AMC. Yep, and we were sitting here telling you probably would. Yeah, I mean, the thing people have to understand about this is like, if the community's making you feel all warm and fuzzy, and a lot of retail traders got caught in this, man. A lot of retail traders got caught in this, right? And that's what they miss. Yeah, I've said this before, but what people miss is that if the community you're in is trying to make you feel all warm and fuzzy about it, they're probably trying to convince you to talk. They're probably trying to convince you not to sell a wildly depreciating asset, right? Like AMC. That's the problem that people face. That's what I see most people. They're so worried about having friends in stocks. Like, bro, I don't care who likes me in stocks, dude. I mean, I'm a little bit different, but. Are y'all ready for fall? Advertising rates for the $2.3 billion Madison Square Garden Sphere have been leaked. It costs $450,000 to advertise for the day. They estimate 4.7 million daily impressions, 300K in person, and 4.4 million on social. It might be worth it, honestly. I mean, I know a lot of y'all are like, what? But, like, it might be worth it, in all honesty, dude. You know, like, imagine you're a brand, right? And you can get yourself in front of millions of views for, like, for what was it, 400K? Yeah, 450K. It might be worth it. How was Gran Turismo? Yeah, I'm ready for hoodie season too. Yeah, I'm gonna watch Gran Turismo. At first, I thought it was just a car movie, and then I realized it was an actual video game movie. All right, hey. Yeah, 2 hours longest fight. Again, Spy is so flat over the last 5 minutes, but definitely weak over the last 30. Nightbot banning you for 5 seconds, Finch. I don't know why, but hey, sorry to hear, you know. All right. Cold pop. Again, Spy break it down. Let's see if it holds. Again, though, everybody acting like we're just crashing imminently is usually, you know, biased. Again, I don't think, like, I think if we're in an obvious trend, and I think this is what a lot of them are just ignoring, right? Like, if we're in a very obvious trend like this, you know, instead of acknowledging that we're on a huge bull run this year, they bring up the pullback to the bottom of the trend line to justify a crash. You know, even if we put up a yearly chart, again, it's even more obvious, right? Like, here's a yearly chart. It's such an obvious trend. You know, we've pushed up so much this year. You know, and I think the trend is very clear. Now, again, the question is it time to buy the bottom of the trend right here? That's where we are now. Is it time to buy the bottom of the trend? If it is, we might get a little pop back up. I think it depends on what NVIDIA does. You know, I think NVIDIA is going to be a big influence over what the market itself does here. I think NVIDIA is going to be a wildly big influence over everything. So, yeah. Do we bounce here at the bottom, guys? Do we bounce at the bottom here? That's the question. Do we bounce right here? Maybe we should do another poll. Okay, we still got about an hour before the Jolts report. I'm going to put a timer up so we can catch it and just watch it. So I'm going to put a timer up for the Jolts report. All right, so we got what? An hour and 8.5 minutes. Yep. All right, hour and 10 minutes. I got 450 puts on Nvidia, and then holding puts on SPY 431. I think made a good move. How you feeling about the market? Yeah, we'll see. Maybe 50%. Maybe today, man. Again, I'm not saying we don't hold this. The problem is this trend was just made by AI, but now we need something new to justify it. Yeah, but the trend is obvious. A few possible, things. Okay, so if we need something new, this week might be it. All right, so again, this week we got unemployment and payroll numbers. We've got non-farm employment change data tomorrow. We got jobless claims Thursday. Next week we got CPI. We've got PPI. Look at my drawing skills right here. We got CPI, we got PPI, we got the Fed minutes. What else do we have? We also have bank earnings next week, right? So these all drop in the next week and a half. We've got unemployment, payroll numbers, CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes, bank earnings, all in the next week and a half. Most of this starts next week, but again, this week we got unemployment, non-farm payrolls on Friday. Next Wednesday we get PPI, Thursday we get CPI, and it's actually really strange because it's backwards, right? That's what's strange. Like PPI is coming out before CPI, which is very odd. Like the producer price index usually drops the day after CPI. Next week, it's backwards. Next week, and this is the first time I've ever seen this, ever, really. We get PPI on Wednesday, CPI on Thursday, which is just odd. So October 11th, we get PPI. October 12th, we get CPI, which is just strange. Yeah, it's just strange. So yeah, today we got job openings. Tomorrow we got ADP non-farm employment changes, services PMI. Bowman speaking at 10:30 at a banking conference. Jobless claims on Thursday with the trade deficit as well as some other government members speaking. And then Friday, unemployment payroll numbers. Again, I'm still pretty weirded out. Again, next week, PPI, Fed minutes, Thursday, CPI, jobless claims. Friday, import-export prices, bank earnings, consumer sentiment data at 10. I don't know why they changed it, to be honest. You get Tesla dipping. Yeah, we'll see about the Jolts report. We got about an hour. Again, slap that like button, guys, if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Jolts report going live today. All right, guys, let's see what we get. Is this the wrong one? I think it is. Let me see. Let me sign out. Let's see, Canva. I guess we gotta log in with this. All right, so SPY gapping down about $3 a share here, breaking lows again. Look at it, down to 424.40s right now, 424.40s.
Sorry, team. Working on a project here. Tesla back over 248s. Nvidia is one I'm watching close. So Nvidia has actually broken all the way down under the previous closing price, under the volume weighted average price, under the 448 level, all the way down to 446.50. And 446 seems to be a support and resistance level for Nvidia, but we are definitely in a downward trend this morning. So you can kind of see Nvidia right here, which is going to weigh the market a little bit. All the way down to 446. It's trying to hold, but struggling to. What's up with GameStop the past few days? It's looking very, very weak. I mean, this Jolts report is a little bit more hyped up than typical, I think. John, do you get bored on days off? No. I used to really miss streaming. But then now I've been doing this for freaking years, though. And so I've just been doing it for so long that, like, I kind of enjoy my days off a little bit more now, in all honesty. Let me pull up Telegram. All right, so get a little small bounce up, but again, we're probably just going to continue on the bear trend, I think, right? We've been in this bear trend for so long. We've been in this bear trend for so long this morning that, like, again, I'm just not super confident in this, if that makes sense. I just don't. I don't know if I'm the most confident in this. I just don't think. There we go. I'm not confident that we're going to bounce back up. Every time I think we're going to bounce back up, the market just ends up continuing to break lows. You can see that on the SPY too. Like a lot of, like, I bought the dip a couple times this morning, just gotten beat up in this. And so I don't need to keep buying the dip. I can just wait. Again, we got less than an hour before the Jolts report. Tesla's still falling down some. We're going to get ready to trade some futures too. All right. All right. Download. Let me know if you like the new music here. There's Tesla bouncing up to 248.50s. There we go. Wait. I need a transparent background. Oops. Let's see. All right, so we did get a little pop up. You can see Tesla popping up, the SPY popping up, NVIDIA bouncing back up to 448s here, guys. 448s. Still a few minutes left. Love the music. Good, man. Yeah, I mean, at least they pushed back the shutdown. That's good, you know. I wish they would let me transparent. Sorry, I'm trying to work on this, but it's a pain in the butt to get this to delete. But we got a little bounce back. In the SPY, we're at 425s roughly, a little bit under that. GameStop is looking really weak. If we look at GameStop here, GameStop has had a really bad, really bad few weeks. Again, the rest of the market hasn't really been rosy the last few weeks, but GameStop especially dipping down from, if we look at a longer term chart here, here's a daily chart. GameStop's had a tough time, dude. And honestly, man, I thought they were up a little bit too much earlier in the year. A couple months ago, I thought they were up just too much. Finally. All right, still bouncing up a little bit. AMC is still over $8. Google, same story. Apple, which is the most heavily weighted stock in the market, same story. AMD, so other microchips like NVIDIA still, trying to fight back a little bit. SPY started to bounce, so almost back up to 425 after. But again, we might still be in this downward trend is the only problem. So we might just still be steady in this downward trend, and I'm not sure. There we go. All right, let me fix this. Nope, that didn't work either. Dang, dude. Sorry, deleting this. Was down for a minute. Yeah, we're back up to 425. Retail stocks are down like 50% to 75%. Do you think tech stocks will fall? I don't know. I think earnings season's coming up this month, right? So earnings season starts next week. We got some tech earnings, but mostly bank earnings next week with like Pepsi and a few other small ones. Small relative to like the other big boys. But next week is a very busy week. And so we got a lot of stuff. Like the market is going to depend on a lot of different things. Again, just this week alone, right? So excluding next week, just this week alone, right? The important things to consider is, again, we have CPI next week. But this week we have unemployment and payroll numbers on Friday. We have jobless claims on Thursday. We've got the non-farm employment change tomorrow. And then we got the Jolts report in less than an hour today. Those are all going to be pretty big influences over markets. Again, with the next week reports of CPI, PPI, FOMC minutes, bank earnings, those are going to be a gang of volatility influences. And they're really important to watch. The SPY finally starting to bounce. You can see the VWAP all the way back up there at 425.50. Let's see if that holds. We also have the 200 EMA way up there. NVIDIA starting to bounce back. It's at 448 right now. So NVIDIA is starting to climb back some. Yeah, the problem with GameStop is simple. what's their future business model? Right. And again, for anybody that likes GameStop, I challenge you to answer this question. What's GameStop's future business model? If you say it's the same thing they're doing now, you don't understand technology evolution, right? Their business model is not going to be sustainable in 5 years, right? People aren't going to use physical copies of video games anymore. They're already not really using them. At least the margins are down drastically, right? And so GameStop lovers, again, genuine question. What's the future of their business model? Like, what does that business model look like? Because I don't know. Again, your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, they could sell consoles, but new consoles only drop what, once every 8-10 years, and so that's not going to be like the most volume-packed business model. And again, regardless of whether they keep selling those things, like their business model is going to lose income over time because technology growth and evolution. You don't need a brick and mortar video game store anymore. Most video games are bought online marketplaces now, and that's bad news for GameStop. Again, it's just not good news. And every time I ask this question, nobody really has an answer, but they're super bullish in GameStop, and that's what I don't understand. You got Cohen behind the board and as the CEO, and that's cool. But again, what happens here? Again, I really don't know. Yeah, I mean, GameStop could be a dev, but again, that's just so outside of what their current business is. GameStop doesn't have to have game developers. Yeah, exactly. It's just so outside their current business. And again, I'm not hating on GameStop. I think people get emotional when we talk about this. You know, I get a lot of the flaws in AMC. I talk about that too, and I'm in AMC. You know, it's not like I can't be in these companies, but it's just a genuine question. Like GameStop, what does their future business look like? And again, a lot of people don't have answers for that, and I think that's a bad sign. Yeah, we heard you. Let's work. You're obviously somebody that's probably been banned before. But so much red. Yeah, again, Warren Buffett, I think it was Buffett, famously said, the time to buy is when blood is running in the streets. I think it was Warren Buffett. I'm not 100% sure though. GameStop gonna, yeah. I mean, it already kind of is Biggie, to be honest. So GameStop kind of already is that. Again, we got 50 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely top 3 quoting guys ever right now. My trading strategies have a goal and stick to it. Learn when to stop with zero emotions. I stop if I'm down 500 or up 500, whatever hits first. It is what it is. So you got a 1-to-1 profit goal. 0 day to expiry options only for me. See, I haven't been brave enough to mess with those. Why the fear? The report is at 10 a.m. So you can see a timer at the top left of the screen. Yeah, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern. But again, notice I say this about GameStop, and you probably got a lot of GameStop bulls, but nobody gives me an answer. That's a problem. I've done this many times. It's the same thing. Nobody has an answer. Like, nobody knows, like, what GameStop is going to do. They're just basically, they're bullish on it, but they don't have a bet on the future business model, right? And they know the current business model isn't sustainable. So, like, what's the future look like? Genuine question. I hope it looks good. I'm going to get ready to trade futures too, but again, I hope they can pivot, but that's just, I'm skeptical because of that. And I think there's risk because of that, you know? And I think that's the biggest problem, is that they've got this business that is obviously obsolete at this point in time. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, if you want to call it anything, it's obsolete. And I don't really see any big plans being made about future business. You know, maybe they don't have the money. Maybe the CEOs and the heads already know this, and so they're just kind of taking bonuses and rolling out and not really caring that much. Maybe that's the case. Again, I really don't know. But I think somebody's got to come up with a plan there, because if not, they're just in trouble. You know. Sorry, we're going to get ready to trade some futures. Again, Jolts report drops in 45 minutes. A little bit less than that. SPY finally dipping down, rejecting right at the volume weighted average price level. So all right. Gonna get ready. Here's the Dow. I don't really trade the Dow. Oh, the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ can move. And I think we have a pretty obvious trend. And this is also why I like futures, is because you can see the trend form. So, like, let's draw the trend out. We'll put this up here. That's the trend right now in the NASDAQ. Very obvious downward trend. The volume weighted average price is up here at 425.50s. GameStop fast food. Yeah, I think they could become, I think there's a couple pivots that I would do if I was them. One of them would be a pivot to just tech. Right, because tech's not obsolete. You could be a Best Buy, but video game store focused, but like tech. The other one would be collectibles. Like if you go to a comic book store right now, some of them are thriving. They've got like Pokemon arenas upstairs. They've got rare cards, rare sports collectibles, signed like copies of sports and rare Pokemon cards and Magic the Gathering cards and comic memorabilia and stuff like that. I think that is what I would pivot to if I was GameStop. I think the markets are very similar. They've already got half of that. You know, they just got to add rare collectibles and start it like that. I think that's what I would pivot to if I was them, is something like that. You know, because again, video games aren't going to cut it. Because people don't buy video games physical copies. You got a small percent of people that are like, nah, I do. But it's such a small percentage of people. Like, I haven't bought a physical video game copy in, 5 to 10 years. Yeah, that could be an arcade. Pet food too. Yeah, just diversify. Yeah, Funko Pops, man. They're saturated market. You know, somebody got really mad at me when I talked about this, and again, this person just got really upset when I told people, like, I don't want to invest in Funko Pop because Funko Pop is too trendy. You know, trends change over time. And, I said this when it was at like $20. It's now at $7. So they have lost well over 50% of their value since I said that. And again, they got mad. They said I was just a hater that didn't know what he was talking about. And, again, since then, effing KO down over 50%. The problem is that they're saturated, number one, and that typically true collectibles aren't this saturated, number one. If you look at the problem with Beanie Babies over time, right? Like, Beanie Babies had a big rise and fall. And they had the big rise and fall because they became saturated. They became saturated, like they were labeled as valuable. There was a huge bubble, and eventually that bubble burst. And I think that might have happened with Funko Pop. My daughter loves these, right? She loves these, but I don't see them as holding value long term. I think trends change, and I think this is just one of the latest trends, but trends change. Only problem is finding a buyer. Yeah, for sure, it's bad, but that's the same thing that happened with Beanie Babies. Yeah, it's got to be somewhat related to their previous business, though. That's why I think like a comic book store, collectibles, Pokemon cards, like that stuff. I think that stuff's still decently big. It's not as big as it once was, but it's still big enough to justify, like, it's an easy switch. A lot of the same audience and consumers, and you can still cover a lot of the stuff. I think that's the pivot I would make. I would turn it into like arenas, like card arenas, stuff like that. Maybe start doing tournaments, like GameStop tournaments. Yeah, for sure, Ruma. That's what I think too. All right, guys. Hey, we got 13 minutes. 13 minutes. Again, we got the Jolts job report at 10 o'clock. Y'all be ready. I don't know about V-Store arenas. I think those are saturated code. And so I think those are saturated in terms of like, I think there's a lot of virtual reality arenas. And like most of the time people can buy their own VR sets from home. And so you don't need to go to an arena to play VR. And I think that was kind of like a good example of that type of saturation is like when the Farm Bill passed a couple years ago and CBD became nationally legalized. You saw a lot of CBD stores that wanted to start a business, right? So you see all these stores that sprout up, these CBD stores, you know, and everybody's and their moms got their own CBD store selling CBD for what, like they're selling CBD for like 4 times more than what they're worth, you know? And of course, at this point in time, the problem with this, right? It's the same thing that happened with, what was it? Fidget spinners, right? Like the problem with Amazon FBA, and I've talked about this a lot. Like the problem with Amazon FBA is that people make more money selling courses and communities around how to sell on FBA than people actually do selling on FBA. And then the people that buy the courses, they're so desperate to look successful because they're idolizing their mentor that they fake their numbers and they lie about their numbers, and it's just a very low margin business, right? The margins are not that good on Amazon FBA. People make more money selling courses on how to sell FBA than they do from actually selling on FBA. If you look at websites like flippa.com, right, and you look at people selling these FBA businesses, the margins are very low. They're spending like $10K a month to make one. You know, that's not the type of margins that I want necessarily, especially on a place like Amazon. And fidget spinners is a great example. Like it's a risky business. Like trends change and products change, you know, and I've talked about this story before, but when fidget spinners first came out, you know, you would go to a specialty store and fidget spinners would be like $60, $70, $100 each. You know, super expensive because everybody wanted one. Not that many people had them. And so a bunch of Amazon FBA sellers spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on shipments of fidget spinners to sell online on Amazon, right? And of course, at first they were probably making good money on their sales. But within a couple months, fidget spinners were at every major gas station, every major store, especially like niche store sold fidget spinners, and they were selling them for like $3 a piece, $4 a piece, $5 a piece, right? And so very, very quickly that market became saturated, and Amazon sellers and sellers in general who bought huge wholesale supplies, they bought these fidget spinners for wholesale for like $20 each, right? They were then sold at gas stations for $2, $3. They lost thousands of dollars doing so. And so it's a very risky business, and trends just change, and you have to understand that. Same thing with drop shipping. Like people make more money selling courses on how to drop ship than they do from actually drop shipping. What I do see right now, Nvidia starting to push up, testing that previous closing price. So here's Nvidia. Up to 447.70s, 447.70s. Yeah, Fred, I mean, that's definitely not a topic that I want to talk about. I'm pretty sure you're... Never mind. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. Pokemon cards sell fast. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the 90s. So I grew up in that Pokemon craze. All right, guys. Hey, we got 9 minutes, about 8.5 minutes until the market opens. I got my Saints hat on today, even though the Saints lost. Nobody remind me of it. I don't want to hear it. The Saints lost. It's all good. Sharp Prime called the reversal on the NASDAQ. Hey, Sharp Prime's really nice, man. It really is. People underestimate how solid it is. Dang, Pawn, that sucks, dude. Imagine having the patent on fidget spinners. All right, we're still in this trend on the NASDAQ here. I'm not confident enough. I'm watching NVIDIA trying to bounce back up over the VWAP. You can see the previous closing price of the VWAP and the 200 EMA. That 3-line level is right there. And so there's too much risk in terms of on the upside, in terms of a rejection there, especially with NVIDIA being so influencing over markets. I got to wait. Yeah, the Astros got into postseason. So I'm ready for October baseball, man. Astros got into postseason with a string of wins. All right, so we play in our first American League playoff game on October 7th, this Saturday. Oh, wait, this isn't my coffee. Oh, man. Almost drank out of it, almost. All right, guys, we got six minutes. Yeah, so the fidget spinner patent expired in 2005. It was $400 to renew it, to hold on to the rights for the fidget spinners, and then after that, they went crazy. That sucks, dude. I feel bad hearing those business stories. I also feel bad, like the Dogecoin guy. You know, he ended up selling most of his coin for like, I think it was like a $3,000 like beater car, just terrible, like crappy car. He spent all of his Dogecoin on before the crazy pump, and he lost out on it. All right, so tomorrow SBF is going to stand trial. Or no, today, Sam Bankman-Fried trial. Is it live? Please tell me they're publicizing it. Somebody update on this. Are they gonna? How do I watch this? Should I cover this on the channel? All right, so Sam Bankman-Fried faces up to 110. All right, so the jury selection starts today, I think, right? Hey, we got 4 minutes. I look like the Dogecoin guy, bro. Listen, that might be an insult to me. Hold on. I'll look this up. What? How dare you, bro? How dare you, sir? I look like this? Shots fired, bro. That hurts, man. I mean, listen, no offense to you, but like, I don't look like this. My beard is way better than this guy's neck beard, okay? Shout out to you, Jackson, whatever his name was. Jolts report drop it at 10 a.m., guys, 10 a.m. Yeah, we'll think about the crypto channel. All right, hey, market's starting to push up a little bit. NVIDIA rejected at that previous closing price, but Tesla's starting to make another test of the 200 EMA volume weighted average price. We got 3 minutes until the market opens, guys. 3 minutes. Yeah, I know I don't, BG. He's just hating on me. You know, it's all right. Listen, when you look this good, people are going to try to downplay it, you know. When you're this handsome, you know, people are just going to hate. And that's something I've just grown accustomed to over time. You know, it's all good. Definitely top 3 in the world for sure. Definitely top 3. I got my Saints hat on today. The Saints lost. I don't want to hear. A bad week for Louisiana football. LSU lost by a field goal by our rivals, Ole Miss. Google started to bounce back up a little bit, though. Yeah, definitely top 3. I'm seeing a little bit of bullish action ahead of the open, but definitely not a good pre-market for me. Look at NVIDIA start to bounce, though. And NVIDIA really is one of the biggest weights. Like, the whole reason the market started contracting back down is because NVIDIA gave back some of its gains. You know, it was at $500. It came all the way back down to basically $400. Bounced all the way back to $450 now. So it's halfway back, but the market's not really following it. I think gold's down big over the last couple weeks. At least the Astros made it to the playoffs. Baseball. Yeah, 10,000 Bitcoins for a box of pizza. The Braves are just so good, though, dude. I can't even hate on the Braves. You know, like Ronald Acuna having one of the best seasons ever. I can't even hate on the Braves. My daughter's favorite player is old Ronald Acuna. Him and Freddie Freeman. So she loved the Braves, even though the Braves placed the Astros. Freeman went to the Dodgers, but yeah. Yeah, Bonds is the GOAT, though. People don't give it to him, but he was the GOAT. You know, I don't care about juice, man. Let them juice their hearts away. NVIDIA back technically green on the day, guys. So again, NVIDIA technically green. We got 40 seconds here. 40 seconds. Ricky Henderson was good. Bonds was the best ever. Bonds, Willie Mays. You know, Bonds or Willie Mays, I would give it to be honest. It's close. NASDAQ starting to head back up. Market's starting to bounce back up. Here's the opening bell, guys. Here's the opening bell. All right, so there's the opening bell. Again, NASDAQ starting to creep back up, breaking past this trend here. Watching Tesla close. Again, NVIDIA rip it up almost to 450. Almost to 450 at 449.60s, 449.90s. 450 just tapped for NVIDIA. So we did rip up and tap 450. Other tech stuff starting to go down. Wow, NASDAQ bouncing back. NVIDIA, again, this is NVIDIA dragging it back up. Tesla not really looking good, but still got time. All right, guys, again, we're watching NVIDIA. NVIDIA popped all the way up to exactly 450, now starting to come back down a little bit. So the question is, do we hold? We are now in NVIDIA over the VWAP, over the 200 EMA, over the previous closing price. And so we're over all those big milestone levels. And if we can hold them, that's great. We might buy a little dip here. It's a very quick trade. See if we get a bounce, but that doesn't look good. I might have to cut this pretty fast. Almost back up, actually, real quick. Let's see if we can hold. The problem is we dumped all the way under these levels, which is not really a good sign. We break this low. I'm going to have to cut this. We're too close to that low. Gonna have to wait now. We got a 1 trade at the open. Let me make sure this is not. Okay, yeah, that's the right one. All right, good. Again, the problem is that NVIDIA broke down under all those milestone levels. And so you can see we're now under all those levels now. NASDAQ bouncing up. Maybe I should have held. Watch Apple. Apple's another really heavily weighted stock. Again, Apple almost to 173. So Apple is moving up a little bit today. NASDAQ held the bottom of that trend line. We're not really down at the open. Market's mostly up at the opening bell. You can kind of see the opening bell happened right here. On the NASDAQ, we're testing highs. NVIDIA rose back up too. This is pretty strong. There we go. Bought the dip. See if we can get a little rise here. There we go. 35. 60. We're just going to go and lock that in. I just made a little bit of profit here. We'll wait for a pullback to happen. I'm going to buy the dip again, see if we get another pop back up. See if we hold at the previous closing price for NVIDIA right here and it drags us back up. There we go. I just made another 140 here. So you can see on this one, we're up about 210 on the day. We thought we might bounce at that previous closing price. We'll let it settle a little bit more now and attack it again. Tesla testing the VWAP though. We're going to go ahead and buy this again. We got a cushion now, so we can probably swing a little bit larger, but I'm going to go ahead and buy this, see if we get a pop. There we go. All right, just locked in some more. All right, just made a little bit more here on this one. Scalping it up, watching NVIDIA's bounce at the previous closing price to influence whether we would bounce here, and we did. At this point in time, though, we're starting to chop out a little bit. We still have 25 minutes before the Jolts job openings report goes live. And so, yeah, we're going to try to be as patient as we can. I think Mays is probably the greatest that there ever was, just by, like, he was good at everything. And his, you know. It definitely, I'll tell you this, it definitely wasn't Babe Ruth. People always give it to Babe Ruth, and he was good, but Apple looks like it wants to rise. Very flat open, though, and the whole market might just be waiting for the Jolts report. Again, Jolts in 25 minutes, 25. All right, we finally got a little pullback here. We finally got a little dip. NVIDIA looks like it wants to bounce, so I'm going to buy this dip. I just made another 100 or so. We bought the dip here. We've got a huge cushion on the day, though, so we can take one contract and not be too crazy with it. Back up to around break even here. See if we get a quick little pop back over this for a split second. There we go. I just made a little bit more. Up about 550 on this one. Slowly grinding it up. No losses on this combine account. Everything looks pretty strong. Looks like it's starting to edge up, though. Tech dragging the market up. NVIDIA ripping over 450s for a second. Again, rejecting, though, didn't hold, but tech is dragging the market up for sure. Apple starting to rip up to 173s. We got Microsoft starting to fight its way back. Again, Google still red, but fighting back. Well, Nvidia, Apple, they're all looking better on the day. Nvidia and Apple are the two largest, or some of the largest weighted stocks. Nvidia is technically very green on the day, over 450s, dragging the market up. You can see Tesla start to rip back up in sympathy with a lot of it. Apple over 173. Apple's still technically red, but since the opening bell, Apple's pushed up a lot. Nvidia still rising at almost 451s now. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green candles from Nvidia here today. 5 green candles. Very big green action. Up to 451s. Nvidia finally coming down a little bit. Tesla tapped that 200 EMA. First major pullback since this opening run started. Now you bought the dip again. I just made another $100, up about 600 on this one. You can see that trend here. Nvidia started to turn though here, team. So Nvidia is starting to run down. 20 minutes until the Jolts report. Nvidia started to break. Again, Jolts report goes live in about 21 minutes here. 21 minutes. Look at Nvidia coming all the way back down under the VWAP, under the 200 EMA, right at the previous closing price. Doesn't look good to me. I mean, that's a bad sign, although we did just bounce back over the volume weighted average price. All right, again, Apple over 173.30s. Nvidia now under the previous closing price, technically red on the day, team. Although the market's still holding up. So market's NASDAQ technically still green. So probably Apple, I guess. Apple's still pretty strong. Although I don't think it's going to hold. I'm going to start shorting this market, which is very risky. But I'm going to take one contract short and try to take a longer term, smaller size position on the short side. I think the market's going to turn. I see Nvidia turning. And I kind of hope I'm wrong, but look, there's Nvidia all the way down to 447s. Yep. All right, we're going to go out and get out of that. About $240 for that one specific trade. We are up about 700 or a little bit under 7 on the day. Again, you can kind of see, like, again, sometimes you're going to have leaders and laggers, right? And one of the things that helped me here is that Apple's up a lot, right? So logically, you could say, okay, well, Apple might start running out of steam, as well as the fact that NVIDIA broke under the previous closing price, under the 200 EMA, under the volume weighted average price. And so that's another thing that might say, okay, well, stuff might start turning around, right? That's how I was able to say, hey, I think we're going to break down here. And then we did, and we're still kind of breaking down because of, again, both NVIDIA crossing under that big milestone level. Like this previous closing price right here is a huge milestone level. It's a level like a lot of people watch. It's the red to green level. And so when we start to dump underneath that after a very strong day, that signals reversal potential, right? And then the other stocks I look at is Apple. Apple's testing highs, extended on the upside. When you add all of that together, you can kind of make a logical conclusion about the potential direction of it short term, not long term. I don't know what's going to happen long term, but it helps me gauge these dips that we just faced and say, okay, well, we might dip. And it doesn't mean we're going to hold. It's just short term. Tesla's starting to bounce back up. So this might change that sentiment we just talked about, is that Tesla's starting to bounce up a little bit. You can watch NVIDIA to see what it does here. It's at 447s. All right, Jolts, guys, 15 minutes. All right, right back up. Hey, right back up for NVIDIA. So we got that breakdown that we called, and then now the market's bouncing right back up. Tesla back up to 248s. NVIDIA battling that level. Very flat day. It might just be in anticipation of the Jolts report going live. Apple still testing the high again. Right, NVIDIA rejecting at the previous closing price, 200 EMA volume weighted average price. I'm going to short a little bit more into this, I guess, but it's risky and it's small. We actually haven't had one red trade all day. There we go. All right, so look at this, man. Honestly, I'm pretty proud of my trades here. Like, look at this. So in this one, we have had no losses today. 18 trades, 0 losses. We've made 875 gross. And this is my trend here. So no losses here. If you want to check out Top Step, again, it's a funded account program for futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. Just taking the challenge, build your skill. Like just taking these challenges, build your skill. Again, we are funded as well. And so it's a great way to learn to trade with less risk, right? You can either put up thousands yourself and risk thousands of dollars as a day trader, or you can test your skill this way. And if you're good enough to pass it, you still get 90% split once you're funded. You still get, they pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. They fund thousands a year. If you don't pass the challenge, then you're only out $49. It's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. And they're the most legit futures funded program in the world. Again, what they do is they give you a demo. They test your skill. In the futures market, there's no PDT rule, so you can day trade the SPY, the NASDAQ, gold, silver, all that good stuff in futures. You can trade not the SPY itself, but the E-mini, which is the same price action. But basically, you can day trade the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, gold, silver, and they move very similar to large cap stocks, but there's no PDT rule. And just taking this challenge, they give you a demo and they test your skill. And if you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you. If you don't, you're only out $49 for the base one. It's much less. And it's just a great way to learn how to trade with less risk, although you still learn how to trade under pressure. So again, they are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor, but if you want to check it out, there's the link. And yeah, getting a breakdown here. We did reject right at that previous closing price here, right at that previous close. Yeah, you can link it to TradingView. All right, hey, 13 minutes here until the Jolts numbers, guys. 13 minutes. All right, you guys ready? Ooh, we got 12 minutes left. Market's very flat. I'm assuming the market is in anticipation of this event dropping today. Again, expectations are 8.8 million. They drop at 10 o'clock. Job openings. The last time the market reacted positively to lesser job openings, right? Which means more people working, I guess. And so this time they're expecting 8.8 million. 8.8 million for the Jolts numbers. And the market might just be flat in anticipation of this. Here's the NASDAQ today. Here's the opening bell right here. And so we got a slight green action in the NASDAQ, but it's definitely not super green or anything like that. Tesla, very flat too. NVIDIA, a little bit red, but still flat. No, market's pretty neutral here. The NASDAQ's flat. You know, again, here's the open. This is the NASDAQ since the open, basically. Here's Tesla since the open. Here's NVIDIA since the open. So some slight uptrends, some slight downtrends, but overall pretty neutral. All right, so now we're popping back up on the NASDAQ. You can see Tesla over the volume-weighted average price. All right, so big rip in markets right now, guys. Big rip in markets. I'm not sure why the market had this big sudden rise up, but you can see Tesla up to 249s. The NASDAQ just broke market hour highs. NVIDIA over VWAP, over 200 EMA, over the previous closing price. All very bullish signs. Very bullish signs. Apple testing highs again. Roblox going to start to move up. I am holding call options in Roblox, but yeah, look at the bullish action here. We got 9 minutes left here, team. 9 minutes left. You get 9 minutes. Bond starting to pull back. Yeah, it could be big boys front loading into the Jolts report that already know the reaction. Again, Roblox almost up to $29. It's a $30 call option. Still gotta wait though for it. Dow Jones not good. Where's the Dow at? Yeah, maybe somebody got the numbers earlier. Again, NVIDIA over the major levels here. The Dow. We're watching the Dow right now. I mean, the Dow is up a little bit short term. Like since the opening bell, the Dow's green. NASDAQ still ripping up. Tesla still ripping up. NVIDIA trying to hold. A lot of bullish action coming in late ahead of this report. Again, we still have 9 minutes. Really, we got about 8 minutes left. But NVIDIA over the major levels, like the big milestone levels. You got to look at levels like milestones in the price action. Breaking above it can help sentiment, right? So with stuff like NVIDIA, I look at 3 major milestone levels. as well as like technicals, like high of the day and stuff like that, right? But the three major indicator levels I look at are the VWAP, the previous closing price, and the 200 EMA, right? The moving averages can be really diluted, and there's just so many different moving averages to look at. So I only look at the 200 EMA because it's a really long-term moving average that other people watch. I also watch the volume-weighted average price as well as the previous closing price. The previous closing price is the red to green level on a chart. And so when you get a stock like NVIDIA break it over all three, it can signal bullish action. It doesn't always have to hold, but like it's something that I look at. The other stuff I look at is like high of the day levels. I love looking at high of the day levels. I think looking at and watching high of the day levels are incredibly important. And so, yeah, those are the major ones we watch. Let me know what the ones you watch in chat. Who are the people getting the numbers early? Goldman Sachs. I'm not saying they are, but they're the ones who would. If it is that, which you don't ever know. It could just be, there's a lot of reasons this could happen, to be honest. Be okay? Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. Hey, we got 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Goldman says they are long, but yeah, you never know. NVIDIA still pushing up to that 450 level, big milestone level. NVIDIA has had 6 green candles in a row for NVIDIA. So 6 green candles in a row. I'm not sure if they're going to hold, but they're trying. Dow pulling back a little bit too. NASDAQ still testing highs. Tesla over the 200 EMA, over the volume weighted average price. Still red on the day though. But again, NVIDIA dragging the market up ahead of this jobs report. 6 minutes left. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on Stream Team. We appreciate it. Yeah, I don't trust Goldman either. Nobody does. They're Goldman, you know. All right, NVIDIA still testing the highs of the day here. Technically green on the day now too. So NVIDIA testing the pre-market high now, right around 451s. 451 is the new pre-market high for NVIDIA, and it's up there right now. It's getting close. NASDAQ rising as well. Somehow we are green in the day in equities. Let's see what this is. Like, what position is oh, Netflix. Yeah, there we go. All right, before this report, I'm gonna close out some of this Netflix position. We are in Netflix right now. We bought it a few days ago. Must have some type of good catalyst that just showed up. So here, we are already up 160 on the position. We're gonna lock in at least half of this size. There we go. Up $223 on Netflix on the day. I was wondering why I was green in such a red day. Again, we got 6 minutes. Maybe sit on the rest. A little bit more off. Just protect the trades since we're so green on the day now. Yeah, Netflix skyrocketed up too. I don't know what happened there, but Netflix popping up. Must be some catalyst. Tesla moving up, NVIDIA moving up. Let's see what the Netflix news is. All right, so Netflix here, the catalyst is they plan to raise prices after the actor strike ends. They had been lone major streaming platform not to raise prices in the last year. They plan to raise prices after the end of the actor strike, according to sources. That's making Netflix rip up big too. Up to almost 395s right now for Netflix. It's a big increase. Again, Jolts report comes in 3.5 minutes, guys. 3.5 minutes for Jolts. When you are winning, bet more. Sometimes, but profit taking is a huge aspect of my system. I was in Walgreens, and it's coming back a little bit, too. They also have earnings coming up. We'll see if they do well. All right, guys, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We appreciate the love. Also, guys, if you haven't already, hit the sub button. We're going to throw it in sub-only mode. Again, watch NVIDIA too. NASDAQ finally starting to dip a little bit. Again, hit the subscribe button because we cover all the major economic reports live. We cover this stuff fast too, very quickly. We got 3.5 minutes. And again, we cover it live every week right here. We don't sell a course, don't sell a service, don't claim to be experts, and just try to cover what we can live for everybody at home. And again, we don't sell a course. We don't have paywalls behind our content. Everything we put out there is free. And yeah, if you appreciate that, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We definitely appreciate you all. We got the Jolts report expected at 8.8 million. We got 2 minutes left, team. You want to make sure your live button looks like this as well. You want to make sure it's red. That means you're fully caught up and live on stream. You want to make sure your live button looks like this, team. So here's your play console. You want to make sure your live button is red right there. You want to make sure it's red. The red dot is on it. That means you're fully caught up. And again, announce yourself. Show us that you're subbed. We appreciate it. What's up, Pokey? All right, the Jolts report coming in less than 2 minutes, guys. We got about 600 people here. And so, again, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. All right, guys, get ready. Here we go. We got a minute and 20 seconds. Minute and 20 seconds. Give me your predictions real quick right now in chat. Let me know your predictions. Higher or lower? Over or under the 8.8 million level? Let me know what you guys think. Will the S&P market, will the equities market move up or down from this report? Let me know. All right, guys, less than a minute. All right, guys, we got a little dip in everything here. Here we go. 30 seconds, guys. 30 seconds. All right, here we go. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, here we go. There's the release. Nothing yet. Market's falling down a little bit. I don't see the release yet. Waiting for the numbers to come out. All right, so we are down. $9.6 million. 9.6 million. Much more job openings expected. 9.6 million. And again, this is the opposite of how it came in last time. Last time, the Jolts numbers came in much lower than expected, and the market pushed up 9.6 million versus 8.8 million expected. Way more job openings and vacancies is what this is. Way more job vacancies than expected. The Jolts report came in at 9.61 million. Way higher than expected. The market did not like this at all. It is turning back big on the day. We'll put these numbers up on screen. Again, 9.61 million. Way higher than expected. Way higher. The market is, again, not liking this at all. Turning on us fast. We've since bounced up a little bit here, but yeah, way higher than expected. Not liking this in the market. Let's see if we catch a bounce candle here. I'd like to short this move, but much higher than expected here. Much higher than expected. We are short 2 contracts. Trading this volatility and range on the day here. We got a big cushion on the day. It's the only reason we're taking larger risk like this. Now we're back down. We're flat. There we go. Took half off there, riding the rest down. Caught it. All right, we just scalped it. We're up almost 1,000 on the day. Shorting into that big pop. Shorting into that big. We get some more. The report's definitely not bullish. More job vacancies are not what the market wants. The market's not liking this report at all. It's actually dropping down pretty substantially on the Jolts report. The market does not like this at all. Again, the Jolts numbers came in much higher than expected. That's not ultimately good. We got over 600 here. Again, if you're just not tuning in, we cover all the major economic reports, Jerome Powell meetings, press conferences, FOMC, CPI, PPI, jobless claims, big earnings. We cover all of it for free. We don't sell a course, don't claim to be experts, just a resource and community of traders. So if you appreciate it, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Market is not liking this Jolt report at all. Falling down big here on this report. Day trade with me. I'm day trading a funded account program called Top Step. They give you a demo in futures and they test your skill. And if you can hit their targets, the base one's a 50K demo they give you. If you can hit 3K in profit without losing over 2K, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. Great way to learn how to day trade with less risk. And if you're good enough to pass it and maybe don't have that much equity, if you're good enough to pass it, you still keep 90% of your split once you're funded. So if you make 10K once funded, you get to keep 9K. And you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. So you get to keep that first full 10K once you're funded if you make it. And again, they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders every year. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals every year. Incredibly useful to trade and genuinely useful to learn how to trade. And so again, if you haven't already, check out futures. In the futures market, you can day trade. I'm looking at the NASDAQ right here, which moves very similar to large cap stocks. The NASDAQ is an index of the largest stocks in the world. Same thing with the S&P. You can day trade the S&P in futures, gold, silver, currencies. Very simple. If you want to check it out, great way to help support the channel. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm definitely biased in their favor because they pay me money, but a great way to learn how to trade. I appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. All right, guys. Breaking down a little bit here on the NASDAQ. Let's see if we bounce back. NVIDIA all the way down to 446. Definitely glad I took profit in Netflix there. Again, greed is what gets a lot of people. Like when I'm up big and anything like that, profit taking's the right move. And so I usually got to at least take some profit there if I can. Going back to this, guys, if you're having trouble finding profits, one of my favorite tools lately has been Chart Prime. And again, I'll show you guys this. And this is just powerful, right? So here's Chart Prime. You can see I set alerts. So it shows me alerts, right? But my favorite ones is the regular market oracle. And again, I'm going to go back test this again just to show you how powerful it is. So this is one called the regular market oracle. Right? If we put this up on the chart, my charts are lagging a little bit. Let me refresh this. If we put this up on the chart, there we go. You can see I get the alerts. There's the NASDAQ alert. Let me put up the regular market oracle. Well, maybe it's not giving it to me. All right, so the Market Oracle Pro is working. Now we can backtest the regular market Oracle Pro here. So Chart Prime is a trading view indicator service that you can use in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. Let's look at how many of these were right. So I haven't actually backtested the regular market Oracle Pro. And again, you can use these in stocks, crypto, Forex, futures. You can see the sell signal here worked. Buy signal here worked. You keep going back. Look at this sell signal. And this is a 5-minute chart. So this is over like 3 hours. There's the market Oracle. The market Oracle is just late. And this is really my favorite one. So you can see this regular market Oracle Pro that gives you the buy and sell signals. But the regular market Oracle is the powerful one. Let me exit out of some of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, again, what I'll challenge you to look at is how many times you get a reversal signal and an engulfing candle within the same like 15 minutes. Within the same 15 minutes. Watch how accurate this is. Right, so this one, I think I'm a little torn on this one. I don't know whether you consider this one works. Look, reversal up, bullish engulfing candle, nice bounce over what, like an hour? But again, that's 1 for 1. We'll keep going back. This one we could say failed. All right, so that's 1 for 1. Failed. This one worked. That's two worked, 1 failed. This one definitely worked. That's 3 worked, 1 failed. Look, reversal down, bearish engulfing candle within like a 15-minute period. Nice drops. All right, but let's keep going back. That's like what, 4 and 1. Look, same thing here. Possible reversal down, bearish hammer. See, it's not the engulfing candle though, so I want the engulfing candle test. That's really what I want to look at. And so I'm going to skip that one since it's not actually the setup. This one, we could say this one failed, right? So that's what, 4 and 2. So let's keep going back. Oh, this is, I need the E-mini is what my mistake is I need the E-mini. So this is the SPY. I don't want the SPY. I want the E-mini, right? I like using it on the E-mini. The SPY will work, but the E-mini works better. So the E-mini is the futures contract that I use on Top Step as well, right? So like, look at this. Market's still dumping, looking weak. All right, so let's check it out. And look at the regular reversal signal. Look, this reversal signal was called what? 10, 15 minutes ago. Look at the breakdowns we've got since then. So even if you're not back testing like I am, I like finding when they all show up together. Like, look, so here's an example. Reversal up, bullish engulfing candle, bounce. Reversal down, bullish engulfing candle, drop. This one we could say failed. So that's 1 out of 3 that failed. Let's keep going back. Look at this one. Again, same thing here. Bullish engulfing candle, reversal up signal, beautiful bounce. Let's keep going back. So that's what? 1 and 4 failed. Here's 2 more. Okay, look, bullish engulfing candle, reversal up signal. That's 1 and 5. Or was it 1 and 4? I'll say 1 and 5. 1 and 6. That one definitely worked. And so again, the cool thing is that you can set alerts. 1 and 7. Let's find more. Look, 1 and 8. This one could fail. So 2 and 8, 2 and 9, 2 and 10, 2 and 11, 2 and 12, so 2 and 13, 2 and 14. So look at how accurate these are. 2 and 15, 2 and 16. This one, maybe we can call that one a fail. So 3 and 16. Maybe we can call this one in. So 4 and 16. This one definitely works. So 4 and 17. You can keep going back and looking at this, right? And again, I challenge you to backtest it yourself. You could try this out for $1, and this is just a small piece. So again, smart money concepts, oscillators. You can put up chart patterns on here. And so just very useful. Like a lot of stuff you can use for your trading. And again, you can try it out for $1 right now. Market is flushing down here. Market is flushing down. But again, it's a sponsor of mine. And so if you want to check them out, here is the link. Great way to help support the channel. Did I not add the overlay? Yeah, so you can try out the link right there. Again, you can try them out for $1 for a 14-day free trial. Check them out. Great way to help support the channel. I'll put the link up in the description if you want to check it out, as well as the link is up in chat. Let me make sure I got the right link for you guys. Hold on. There we go. All right, so yeah, if you want to try it out for $1, we'll put this link up. I also put the right link up in chat, but man, look at the Jolts dump down the market, man. Wow, what a crazy dip. What a drop, man. But again, if you want to check out the Jolts report, or if you want to check out Chart Prime, here's the link. But man, what a drop, dude. Yeah, there's the link right there. You can try out Chart Prime for only $1. But yeah, the jobs report definitely weighed down on markets today for sure. What a crazy dip. Do y'all think the market bounces back today? I guess is the question. NASDAQ finally starting to bounce back. NVIDIA bouncing back to the previous closing price too. So look at NVIDIA bounce back too. I don't know. Let's look at the rate hike probabilities here. Right now for the November meeting, the probability of a pause is 70%. The probability of a rate hike is 30%. So 30% of people think we're going to raise rates. 70% think we're going to pause. NASDAQ bouncing back. Again, look at NVIDIA creep up. So NVIDIA might save us. So look at NVIDIA bounce back. So NVIDIA way up here. Look at NVIDIA. Back up over the previous closing price, testing the VWAP in the previous closing price right now, as well as the 200 EMA. That's a big spot, man. Again, you want to watch the 200 EMA, the volume weighted average price, but watch NVIDIA. NVIDIA does have can have a big influence over markets. Yeah, super chop morning followed by a big breakout. And so, yeah, interesting to see what happens here, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I love you all. Y'all be safe. Again, you can check out my sponsored links in the description if you want to help support the channel, if you want to trade with me. And again, check out my funded account here. We had a couple people saying that I'm just paper trading. Like, look, like I've been funded for, the last couple months. And again, here's my stats on my funded account. Now, sometimes I am paper trading for sure, because I'm trying to get funded in more than one account, right? But my TOS account is got, again, 60K in it roughly, and like 200,000 in buying power. But on my actual funded account, again, this is my graph, 75% winning day accuracy. We started in August. And so we've been doing pretty well in our funded account as well. We showed people our P&L on our funded account too. So we've been going back and forth. And again, if you want to try out funded account, link is in the description. Try out Chart Prime as well. Just really useful service. And with all that said out the way, I'll go ahead and close it down, guys. Be safe. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.